Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is Johnboy. I'm your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me, as ever, is Squirt Russell.
Hey!
Oh, yeah, that's you.
A.K.A. Snake Pisskin.
Gape Piskin.
Oh, come on.
That comes courtesy of our friend Peter Fonda.
The Peter Fonda?
Yes.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
How are you?
Very good. That's Aaron Joseph Pita.
That's me. I'm here. To my right, your left.
Yes.
We have the fastest man on a third leg, Oscar Pistorius.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
A sordid tale, I have to tell.
Hey, poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I'm watching the 30 for 30 documentary on him right now.
Really?
Yeah, it was an accident, dude.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Dude, like...
he shot through the door a lot of times. Didn't he?
4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 4 accidents, huh?
No, he thought it was an intruder.
Oh,
like
God.
they reenacted all the things that he said, like in the dark, like the darkness, and like him, like moving the fan, and the noise that he heard. He went into the bathroom, and he was like, he told his girl to call the cops, and she hears it, so she hides in the bathroom, thinking that it was an intruder. She opened the window, and he thought somebody was coming in. It's South Africa, and it's fucking crime riddled, and like. So she's hiding because she thinks there's one there. He's fucking freaking out because he thinks that the guy barricaded himself in there.
Wow.
It was pop, pop, pop. And then,
And another pop.
Dude, it was a fucking accident. I mean, there's one more episode to go. I mean, who knows? But
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Do you want to introduce Matt?
I did. The fastest man on a third leg, Oscar Pistorius.
Yes.
Matt Brousseau.
handsome
Hasn't
Brousseau.
killed anyone yet.
Not that I know of.
Yeah. Still has all of his legs and
Yeah.
dicks and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you for
As far as we
noticing.
know.
Matt, how are you?
I'm good.
It's very serendipitous that your last episode was a lot about the wild.
Yeah.
Because I got a story like that today, and our Patreon, $5 a month, an extra show per week, $5 for now.
Yeah, dude. Prices are going up.
Up.
Inflation, baby. It's been 7 years of $5.
Yeah.
I should look up what $5 7 years ago is worth now.
Fucking hand job.
11?
Hand job. A hand job.
Yeah, that's the inflation calculator.
Yeah.
Stick it in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's 2028.
Can't even get 3 fingers now.
A 3-finger job?
Of Glenlivet, no.
As long as it's not Jameson. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. But you told a couple of tales on the last Patreon.
Yes.
About this Mississippi River nonsense and some real highwayman shit, and then we had this crazy journey of these
Prisoners of
POWs and
a gator.
And a gator.
I mean, what the
and it
hell?
got really crazy over there.
Yeah,
it was a real fun time.
worms?
Yeah, worms.
Oh my God.
They're eating the worms.
Dude.
So folks, if you want to get a little bonus content and an extra episode per week of us, hit us up on Patreon.
Please.
Get it while it's cheap. We're trying to pay for this studio. Gentlemen,
Lay it on me, Daddy.
you know Australia is well known for its dangerous landscape.
Yes, it's quite inhospitable, most of it.
Yes.
In the outback, every year about 40 people die, usually after an auto accident or breakdown.
Because there's nobody out there to help them.
Yep.
Always bring 2 cars out there.
An extra car.
That's right.
Australian rivers are treacherous even for strong swimmers. The humbly titled Royal Life Saving Society found that 735 people died by drowning in Australia's rivers between 2002 and 2012. That's from the Life Saving Society. Not really doing their job.
Well, maybe the numbers could be higher.
Yeah, they're trying to get funding, so.
Some of the world's most venomous animals live in Australia, like the box jellyfish, the marbled cone snail, the blue-ringed octopus, and the stonefish.
Oh, my God. Big-ass fucking spiders, dude.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at a list of the top 25 most venomous snakes in the world, spots 1 through 11 are Australian snakes, and they have 9 other snakes on the list.
Jesus Christ.
A good chunk of today's story takes place in the Northern Territory, or the NT.
NT.
That's east of Queensland, a massive federal territory most known for the town of Alice Springs, the gateway to the Outback Desert, and the red center where you'll find Uluru or Ayers Rock.
Oh.
The NT is not a state. It is a federal territory. It's only been self-governing territory since 1978. Before then, it was managed by the Commonwealth, the federal government. Compared to other Aussie territories and states, it's sparsely populated. The population of the NT is younger, slightly more men, and 10 times the proportion of Aboriginal peoples or the Torres Strait Islander peoples.
Uh-huh.
The cattle industry is a major employer in the area. Nearly half of the NT total area is used as a grazing land for livestock. Just 40% of the jobs in the NT exist outside of Darwin. Making a living in construction or mining is considered lucky.
Yeah.
Mining, lucky.
Yes, you're lucky to get down under the snakes.
Yeah. No snakes underground.
They certainly can't tunnel straight.
No. Yeah, so that's how you lose them.
Wriggling this way and that.
Australia exports live cattle, beef, but also live water buffalo and water buffalo meat to foreign markets.
Oh.
It was imported, the domestic water buffalo, to Australia in the 19th century to supply remote northern settlements with meat. People decided to abandon these settlements and their water buffalo herds in 1949.
Fuck this place.
Yeah. So left to their own devices, the breed started reproducing out of control. Water buffalo were also getting even bigger in the wild.
Awesome.
Can you get them from Africa?
I don't know their country of origin, the water buffalo.
Continent.
Yeah.
But they were
Western New
imported
York.
and then they went fucking haywire.
Yeah, dude, you're out there in the outback, no rules, just right.
The average feral water buffalo will grow to be 8 to 10 feet long and 6.5 feet tall.
Jesus.
The weight
needs a car?
is anywhere from 13 to 2,600 pounds.
All right, it's a small car.
Yeah.
That's one of the creatures there. You can see
Don't like
that.
that.
That's a big, wow, that's a big old horn on that fucker.
They were causing major damage to the wetlands and human settlements, especially plaguing the top end. Some of North NT's bigger town cities like Palmerston and Darwin are in the top end. Hunters targeted the water buffalo for the meat, hides, and trophies, but never came close to culling the population. The annual traumatic death rate in the NT is higher than the national average. It gets exponentially worse the more remote the town is. A lot of those traumatic deaths involve alcohol in some way.
Oh, shit.
Residents consume more alcohol in NT than any other territory or state in Australia.
Nice.
Out of all the deaths in NT, well, if you're there, I mean, shit, I'd be fucking hammered too.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
Between 2014 to 18, about 11% were just wholly related to drinking. About 80% of the traumatic deaths in NT were related to suicide, transportation, and assault.
Oh, fuck.
The seasons have a big impact on the manner of deaths. The Northern Territory has tropical regions that experience a wet period with wet and humid weather and a dry period with warm, dry heat.
Yikes.
Transport-related deaths were 2.5 times more common in the dry season. In the wet season, assault deaths were 3.3 times more common, and suicide was 1.5 times more likely. The area also sees many more deaths related to the environmental factors like drowning, lightning, heat exposure, environmental exposure, and animal attacks, including more venomous animal attacks than in other areas. 4% of all deaths are due to those factors.
Dude. No thanks.
Crocodiles are far and away the most common thing to kill you.
Far and away.
Yes.
Yes,
Officially, they only kill 2 people every year in Australia.
Officially.
But they're still extremely scary to live around.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, they have jobs.
Well, they became a protected species in Australia in the 70s, and all recreational crocodile hunting was outlawed. At that time, there was around 3,000 crocs in the NT. Since then, the croc population has exploded. In the 2020s, there was more than 100,000.
Are the crocs allowed to hunt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll get right into that.
Okay.
Now, there's 100,000 of them and 250,000 people. So
Recipe for
I'm
disaster.
sorry, how many crocodiles?
So for every couple with a baby, there's one croc guardian angel.
Yep.
God.
Yeah. Stark doesn't bring a baby. the crocodile.
Yeah.
And then the dingo takes it.
That's right. Yeah.
Feral pigs serve as tasty and convenient food source for crocs, driving their numbers up.
Cool.
Since feral pigs can attack people, carry diseases, damage crops and livestock, prey on native species, degrade the soil and the water, and spread invasive plants, it could be a net gain for the crocs to be eating them.
Yeah.
Between its sparse population, remoteness, lack of career options, substance abuse culture, challenging environment, and extreme wildlife, the NT has always been a tough place to live, full of tough people.
That checks out. That makes sense.
Rod William Ansell was born in October 1st in Murgon, Queensland. Queensland is a state in the northeastern part of Australia. It's the 3rd most populated state and the 2nd biggest state in total area. In the 50s, Murgon was a small rural town. It still is today. The population sits at just about 2,000 people.
Hey, it's like my hometown.
Rod's
high school.
Yeah.
Rod's dad, George Ansell, and his mom, Eva Mae Ansell. He was the third of 4 children. There's not much information available about his childhood, but we know that when he was 15, he moved to the NT. He started working in the NT, taking whatever jobs he could get. He got some work as a cattle grazier.
I didn't know there was Frenchmen down there.
What does he do? Like, is this a sommelier for grass?
This is the finest cattle you can have.
Yeah. Cleans the shit out of it.
Yeah.
He earned money capturing and hunting feral water buffalo. He was selling the live animals and selling their meat. So he's a 15-year-old making a living using a gun, which is pretty fucking insane. But around this time, having a firearm was basically a requirement for Australians living in rural areas. The boys, especially as children, would be trained in gun use at an early age.
Oh, all these pigs and crocs and buffalo. Yeah, come on.
Hunting meat was a necessity, and they had to protect themselves against predators and vermin. Similar to America, they have very similar histories with firearms. People of British ancestry believe that they had a God-given, crown-given right to defend themselves with weapons. It was the responsibility of all able-bodied citizens to assist in enforcing the law, maintaining the peace with a firearm when possible. But most of the police in Australia carried batons in the 70s.
Yeah. It's fashionable.
Only the cops in New South Wales carried firearms. When he was 22, sometime in early May 1977, Rod had just completed a buffalo catching job in the western Australian town of Kununurra. He made a plan to take a fishing trip on the Victoria River. He wasn't super specific about his plans. He just told his friends and his girlfriend Lorraine that he'd be away for at least 2 months. He planned to do a few days of fishing on the motorboat and then drive up to the top end. He was joined by his 2 bull terrier puppies that were both just 8 weeks old.
No.
That seems like they're going to grow into it.
They're not ready.
They're going to grow into it.
They're ready, baby.
Dude, they're puppies. That is just getting them away from their mom.
Have you seen Homeward Bound? They're fine.
Yeah, but they're not puppies.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And there's no cat.
Yeah.
Rod packed enough.
Crocodiles.
Yeah. Rod, they're kind of like a cat.
Yeah, they're big old.
Yeah.
They're like purring.
Mm-hmm. Rod packed enough supplies for several weeks of travel and had a backup dinghy and oars. He'd be fishing in the Queen's Channel of the Victoria River on the NT's western border. He would later admit that his real plan was to spend most of his time hunting crocodiles. Saltwater crocs in northern Australia are over 20 feet long from toe to tail and weigh over 1,000 pounds. They have the strongest known bite force of any animal, about 3,700 pounds per square inch of force. Crocodile hunters would cruise around rivers in boats at night with just a bright light, a harpoon, and a gun, looking for a set of glowing eyes peeking above the waterline.
You're hunting a demon.
Yeah.
With a stick.
Yeah. Also, you're probably pretty drunk, too.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
When the sun set on the first day of his fishing trip, his motorboat drifted with the tide. The tides moved his boat into some estuaries that make up the entrance to the Fitzmaurice River. That river, like the Victoria River, also empties into the Queen's Channel. Now, Matt, we have a clip here, page 5, of a small boat on the Fitzmaurice River, just to kind of show you what's going down. I think it's that highlighted baby right there.
Let's see what we got here.
I'm saying Fitzmaurice instead of Fitzmaurice.
Is this some other guy?
Yeah.
We're going backwards.
Now you can see the rapids, and it's a wild time. This guy's fucking up big time.
Dude, don't get in the water.
No, he's out. Yeah, the boat is stuck.
He's getting out of the boat.
Trying to unwedge it. Well, now he's got it. Now he's got to get back in. Get back in.
Jesus. Can't get lost out there.
No.
No shoes. Good.
All right. So
caught on the back here.
it's really just not a fun time. Could be crocs all over that fucking thing.
It looks like an amateur river guy. Not doing so good. That's a big old rock.
Going now. Gotta commit. Give me a bit of control.
He's constantly looking around like he's about to be attacked
Come on,
by
babe.
something.
He's trying to figure stuff out. Yeah, it's
Yeah, there's a lot of
we gotta
rocks.
hit
There's
a
a
lot
lot of
Rocks too.
obstacles.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of rocks. Being attacked by rocks. It seems like an absurd. There's so many rocks, an absurd
so,
river.
anyway, we can stop it there. But you can imagine this kid floating down this thing.
And now, how old is he now? Still 15, or is he now? He's telling his girlfriend.
It's May 1977, right? And I said he was.
So he's in his 20s now.
He was born 1954.
All right, so he's 23.
23.
Tells his girlfriend, "Yeah, I'm going fishing for
Yeah.
2 months."
2
Yeah,
months.
but also the hunting crocodiles is illegal.
Yeah.
So
but
he's-
also
so-
2 months. You're gone. Just like
Yeah, but he's an outdoors kind of guy, you know. but-
Yeah.
Yeah, also, what else? What's going on? It's not like he's like, I'm ready to go to the mine again.
Yeah.
I know, but the girlfriend's gonna be like 2 months.
Maybe she's tired of him.
So he's going down, the boat's drifting, and he says, it was all pretty quiet, then suddenly something heaved up under the boat and threw me, the 2 pups, and all the stuff into the water.
Oh my god.
He couldn't be sure what capsized the boat. He would say that later that he thought that it was a whale that had drifted in with the tide like him, and that the speculated the whale panicked about the shallow water and then and flipped the boat.
Just a
A
simple.
whale?
Just a simple whale. What am I doing?
I mean,
here?
that was called into question later, but
Yeah, I'm calling into question just hearing it.
a really small whale.
Yeah.
he managed to get himself into the dinghy that he'd been towing. He dove into the water to grab the puppies and put them into the boat, along with any supplies he could grab and a single oar he caught floating. He had just his rifle, 2 knives, some canned food, and bedding, but no drinking water. He had to empty a tin of powdered milk and use it to bail water out of the dinghy. It was also the middle of the night when he felt secure that the dinghy was floating safely. One of the puppies had also broken its leg when the boat capsized.
Jesus Christ.
He said, I'd been drifting all this time and I didn't quite know where I was. He didn't know exactly how far he was from the nearest human settlement, but he knew it was far. It turns out he was about 120 miles away, 200 kilometers. He had to come up with some kind of plan.
You gotta kill one of those.
Well, you gotta grow it and then eat it. You can't.
Well, one lame dog, that dog with a broken leg.
He said it would have been suicide to head out to sea. The tide just there washes up to the north, so I thought I'd see if I could get up to the Fitzmaurice to get some fresh water. For 4 days, Rod and the dogs floated around the estuaries, then he found himself padding up the river's entrance. Rod and the dogs are all desperate for water. He says, I got very thirsty. It got real bad after I strained sips of water through folded clothes, but the pups gulped from the river and vomited all the time.
Jesus Christ.
But he said, but all that time, I knew I was heading up the Fitzmaurice. I went up about 60 miles before I got to fresh water. With one oar, you don't really make good time.
No
And
shit.
you don't say, yeah.
It's a remote river at some points. The nearest town is just over 100 miles away. There aren't legal access roads that connect you right to the river, making it hard to get to. It's full of rock bars, and it's the fastest flowing river in the Northern Territories with speeds of up to 9 knots, or 10 miles per hour. On the 5th day of rowing, Rod landed the dinghy on a small island at the mouth of the Fitzmaurice. He was able to make a splint for the puppy that had broken its leg.
Oh.
Because he had told his friends that he'd be away for at least 2 months, he knew that nobody in Kununurra would be sending out search or rescue parties. Even if they had gone looking for him, they'd be searching on the Victoria, and he's on Fitzmaurice. He said, I knew I can get out by straightening out south of this Victoria River, then following it along to the town of Timber Creek. But it would also have meant a 100-mile hike, and there's no water out there. There was no chance of making it. So I thought I'd sit it out there and wait till the wet came in. The wet season starts at its earliest around October, which would mean waiting 5 months. I'd have a chance of following wet season water holes down to the Vic as long as I didn't get too weak. He would try to survive off the land for 5 months and then just hope that he had enough energy and water to make a 100-mile hike to a pastoral station, some sign of, human civilization.
I'll wait 5 months to
Right.
make a 100-mile hike.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta train.
That's right. The music is starting.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
Well, the whole thing is bonkers. It's
Yeah.
just another series in a
A
long,
lot of bad decisions.
long lot of bunkers.
He made camp, but not in the way that you might expect.
Huh.
He
You don't
says-
say.
He says, I built sort of a tree house. A few saplings in the fork of a tree so I could camp off the ground and get away from the snakes and scorpions.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And he said, all the time I was there, I shared that tree with a big tree snake. He used to come down and wonder what the hell I was doing there. He was all right. He wasn't dangerous. It was the brownies I was worried about.
The brown recluse.
I think it's the brown snakes that are very venomous.
Yeah.
Not the race of people, Aaron. I can see his head spinning.
Yeah.
When the boat capsized, he lost most of his ammunition, but he had managed to save the rifle and 30 bullets. I shot wild buffaloes for food. In the first week, I shot 4, but in the last week before I left, I only shot 1. I was getting a bit weak by then. He also shot wild wallabies for meat. All of his meals would be shared with the 2 canines.
And the snake?
Yeah, I think the snake found his own way.
Where's the other puppy?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the snake's talking again.
And this guy shot a bunch of buffaloes and like he was running out of food?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, it was the water is the real problem.
Yeah, okay.
But I also imagine it's hard to keep that meat fresh.
Oh, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the fucking scorpions are getting their bellies full.
Yeah, everybody's got to take a cut.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like the Jungle Book or something. I don't know.
He supplemented his diet by digging up yams and gathering wild gooseberries.
Nice.
Cool. That's the most charming part.
And then when there was enough water, he would just drink the blood of the buffalo.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. They're full of water.
Yeah, it's a water buffalo.
Hi.
Hello, it's right in the fucking name.
Read a fucking blog, dude.
Rescue finally came during the first week of July. Rod heard the sound of bells from across the river. He knew that stockmen tie bells around the necks of their extra horses so they can keep track of them in the bush.
Same.
Soon as I heard those bells, I took off. He jumped into the dinghy with the one good oar he'd saved, and he'd fashioned a second oar out of bush timber. He rowed like hell across the river that ran up the crocodile slides on the opposite side. The first bloke I came across was called Luke McCall. He looked pretty surprised. I couldn't have looked too good. I only had on a pair of shorts and no boots at all. They went down with the boat. He had a shaggy beard and hair and must have looked like a wild man. He was emaciated, but otherwise hadn't suffered any serious injuries or illnesses during his time in the bush. McCall had ridden into this no-man's land with three Aboriginal stockmen he'd worked with. Very few white people have ever been to the area where they found Rod.
Wow.
They were only around that specific area because one of the Aboriginal stockmen had wanted to check out the tribal country of his ancestors. So even they left.
This place sucks.
Yeah. A lot of Aboriginal men worked as stockmen on cattle and sheep stations in the first half of the 20th century. They were paid starvation wages far lower than that of white men and would have been... Rod found out at this time that he'd been missing for 56 days. He told the stockmen his story, and then they volunteered to take him back to the closest town, Palumpa, and they headed out that very afternoon. He didn't boast about his survival story, but he wasn't exactly trying to keep it a secret either. He didn't tell the guys not to tell anybody about what happened. He would later say initially that he thought it was no big deal. And he said, all the blokes up in this country who work with cattle, ringers, stockmen, bull catchers, whatever, all of them have really narrow shaves all the time. But they never talk about it. I think the opinion is that if you come through in one piece and you're still alive, then nothing else really matters. It's like going out to shoot a kangaroo. You don't come back and say you missed by a half inch. You either got him or you didn't. Right. So that's how I looked at it, until the paper got a hold of the story, and that changed a lot of things. They would be traveling by horseback for the next 4 days, and Rod rode without a saddle and barefoot. When they finally reached Palumpa, Rod was able to arrange transport back home, and he was really glad to be back, but he also worried about what to say to everybody. He assumed that if he told his family, his mother would be upset at him for being reckless, and then he just didn't tell anybody what happened for a while.
No, I was just
out there.
Yeah,
but in Darwin and around the rest of the Northern Territory, Rod is becoming something of a legend.
Uh-huh.
And after the time, some reporters got word about his adventure and wanted to know more about this modern-day Robinson Crusoe, and he was front-page news in August of 1977. Okay. Rod as a whole made for great content. He was young, fit, and ruggedly handsome with his cornflower blue eyes and sandy blonde hair. He spoke in that typical understated, laid-back Aussie style, but he also took to embellishing some facts for dramatic effect. Suggesting to a reporter that his boat was capsized by a whale seemed like a reach.
Yes.
The public fell in love with him regardless.
Local idiot makes long trip.
The puppies.
Yeah.
The puppies.
The puppies helped the story a lot.
Yeah.
Making the splints.
Coming in and wearing them like fucking baby Bjorn or whatever.
Yeah.
I might have splint out of popsicle sticks.
There's a joke on it, too.
After he became an Australian media sensation, he met a cute radio operator, 22-year-old Joanne Van Oz.
That's because his fucking girlfriend left him.
Yeah. Well, she didn't leave him. He just wasn't there for...
Yeah, he left her.
Yeah.
She was like, I guess I got left.
Yeah, okay.
And then people were like, what happened? And he's like, I don't like to talk about it.
Where were you? I don't know.
I was shacked up with a snake.
Yeah, I was living with a snake.
And these two dogs. Look at them. This one walks weird now. Joanne was originally from Melbourne, but she was working in the Wadeye, a very remote Aboriginal community. Joanne's sister Leonie would go on to marry social services counselor Craig Hemsworth, who had 2 little boys with her.
Yeah.
Were they dogs?
Odinson.
Well, this was probably Chris and the older one at that time, and not yet.
This
Liam.
is Chris and Liam.
There's 3.
Is there 3?
Yeah. So
Oh.
is it Chris and Liam? Because there's an older one.
Chris and Liam are the only ones mentioned. Well, the actors. I don't know if the older one
Yeah,
acts.
he's in Westworld.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. But, I mean,
Well.
he's just not the, he's not the marquee bros. But I mean, he's a working guy. He was actually in.
Good actor.
He plays Thor in the reenactments in Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder. He plays. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
good.
That's cool shit.
That's cool.
Rod and Joanne quickly fell in love and married before the end of the year. They were both comfortable roughing it, and they spent most of their early years of their marriage living just under a canvas sheet.
Okay.
They'd cook by the campfire and communicate by radio. They had their first child in 1979.
Wait, what?
Which is next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burger, can you put some more wood on the fire? Over.
I'll miss you. It's pretty romantic. It's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're used to that sort of thing, I suppose.
Anything's better than fucking shacking up with a snake.
Yeah. Yeah. Real Garden of Eden situation going on.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking talk to that snake, bitch.
Get some knowledge.
They had their first child, a son they named Callum. Their lifestyle remained largely the same, even with the new addition. In 1979, Rod appeared in filmmaker Richard Oxenberg's nature documentary, To Fight the Wild.
to fight the wild.
Yeah.
With the bare hands, I assume.
He was reenacting his own fight for survival in the wilderness. The documentary was a success and got adapted into a book called To Fight the Wild.
With a number 2.
Yeah.
Fight the wild.
Yeah, you know it from TV. Here it is in book form.
Rod was booked on a speaking tour around Australia and the U.S. to promote the documentary and the book. His handlers were amused by his habit of walking around barefoot most of the time. When he was boarding planes, he was forced to wear flip-flops. He'd be booked at nice hotels with very comfy beds, but still slept in a rucksack or whatever, sleeping bag.
Yeah, he slept in a raft in the tub.
Yeah.
Dude, it's Crocodile Dundee, man.
You might remember there's a scene in Crocodile Dundee where Mick is in a fancy hotel room and is confused, bemused by the bidet.
Yeah.
In a 1981 interview with British talk show host Michael Parkinson, Rod described his amusement upon first seeing a bidet in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Ansell's friends would also say that he was at one with the indigenous Australians, much like Mick Dundee, spoke their language fluently, and had become a fully initiated white man. Rod was making some money off the book and speaking engagements in the documentary, but he wasn't exactly wealthy. In 1981, Rod and Joanne had their second son, Sean. 4 years later, Rod wanted to take out a pastoral lease on a plot of land in the NT. He had to borrow money to afford the lease, but he was able to move his family onto their own buffalo farm. He named their farm Melaleuca. The Melaleuca is a large evergreen tree native to New Guinea and Australia. This is about 70 miles east of Darwin. They didn't even own a telephone. The nearest phone was at a neighbor's 10 miles away. But the legend of Rod Ansell, the barefoot white bushman, hadn't faded from public memory.
Yeah, no telemarketers calling.
In 1985, comedian, actor, and writer Paul Hogan and his creative partner John Cornell were searching for inspiration for a new project.
Yeah.
They borrowed heavily from Ansell's story to make the script for the comedy action romance feature Crocodile Dundee. Now we got a clip of the trailer for that, man.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, dude. I like Crocodile Dundee, too, where he goes to... he's in New York in the first one, too, I think.
Let's see here.
So right under this picture of him.
Okay. Trailer.
Get some.
Did they call Paul Hogan a comedian?
They did.
Comedic actor?
I suppose.
But also, like, real man.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
Oh, my Lord.
Hey, it doesn't look too witty.
Oh, my God.
2 beers, all right? 1 for me, 1 for me, mate.
A legendary figure about to encounter a world more treacherous than any he has ever known.
The urban jungle.
G'day. Mick Dundee from Australia. How are you? I'm fine, how are you? Just going down for a couple of days. Probably see you around.
Probably see you around.
This your first trip to New York?
First trip anywhere.
Well, we might just have to give you one for free.
Yeah. One what?
Hookers.
Those ladies are going to suck him off.
Bit of a lunatic or something.
That's why I love it, because I fit right in. G'day.
Hello.
Sorry.
It's a real action-packed trailer, John.
Yeah.
I didn't make the trailer, buddy.
No, I know. It's just funny.
It's an 80s trailer.
Oh.
Oh, he took that guy down with a can of peas.
When are you coming home, Mate?
Well, if you can manage, Wal, I'd like to stay a while.
Wouldn't have anything to do with a certain lady writer, would it?
Paramount Pictures presents
my lord.
Oh, Senor Meek.
Paul Hogan
Hey, my man, what's happening?
Where?
as Crocodile Dundee.
You got a light, buddy?
Yeah, sure, kid.
And your wallet.
Got a knife.
Here it is.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Oh, freeze frame!
Freeze frame.
The whole movie
Crocodile
is
Dundee.
building up to that.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, let's take a little break, and we'll be right back, folks.
That's not a break.
This is so bright.
That's a break.
And we're back.
All right.
Crikey.
Paul Hogan married that co-star. of
That's
his.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They communicate by radio.
She doesn't understand a damn thing he's saying.
No, nobody does. Principal photography on Crocodile Dundee began July 13th, 1985, and filming wrapped in October. The total production costs were about $8.8 million. Hogan and his producing partners offered Crocodile Dundee to Warner Brothers and 20th Century Fox for a North American release, but Paramount was the winner, picking up the picture for $6 million. Hogan would say that he'd always expected the movie to be enormously successful, earning millions of dollars around the globe. He said,
Same with all my projects.
He said, I'm planning for it to be Australia's first proper movie. I don't think we've had one yet. Not a real general public successful entertaining movie.
Okay.
I take his word for it.
September 26, 1986, it was released in Australia and the U.S. It made over $8 million on opening weekend.
Nice.
Wow.
Now we have a clip of Siskel and Ebert reviewing Crocodile Dundee.
Oh,
Here we
yeah.
go.
Let's look at these fucking big old glasses that they're wearing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most surprising success stories at the American box office this year has been the sensational popularity of a movie named Crocodile
at that
Dundee,
hair.
a comedy about a wilderness guide from the outback of Australia and his adventures after he visits New York to see the woman that he loves. This is a movie that a lot of American distributors turned down. They thought American audiences would be turned off by the Australian accent and the Australian slang. But in the 2 months since it opened, Crocodile Dundee has been at the top of the national box office listings for 7 straight weeks. It has grossed $68 million. It has improved every week, another 12% last week, and has made a major star out of a laid-back Australian TV actor named Paul Hogan. Here he is making himself right at home in the big city. Paul Hogan was not a Hollywood star when Crocodile Dundee opened, but he was known to a lot of American TV viewers because of his role as a spokesman for Australia on TV commercials. Here he projects a certain rough-edged, down-home charm.
You'll have the time of your life in Australia.
No worries.
Of course, we talk the same language. Although you lot do have a funny accent.
I guess at work they say there are twice as many American visitors in Australia this year as last year. Crocodile Dundee, meanwhile, is such a big hit that Hollywood executives are trying to figure out the formula so they can rip it off. And I can only imagine what lousy Australian actors we're going to see now visiting Chicago and Los Angeles right about next spring, I think.
What a shit.
Dude, he's right.
What a little shit.
Oh, that's great. Well, I mean, you know, you had Mel Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
He did the Road Warrior motion pictures.
That's right.
And Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. Well, Australian star in America.
Yeah. Yeah. And the end of list, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, the formula seems pretty straightforward, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's a fish
out of water.
It's a crocodile out of water tail.
Yeah. Walking around with a hat on.
After 11 weeks, it became the top-grossing film in Australia, beating out E.T.
What are they watching down there, dude? You got to see E.T.
Yeah. Now they already knew. The ET lives in the Outback. They knew.
Yeah.
If you combine its domestic box office and international box office, the film raked in over $328 million.
Jesus Christ. So, and he was probably a producer on it because he was a writer.
Yeah.
And
Crikey. They
Only
say.
Top Gun beat it at the box office, and only by about $2 million.
worldwide?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
And Top Gun was also Paramount, so they were like the big winners of 1986. At the age of 47, Paul Hogan was a leading man with international fame, a screen icon. He would say that he came up with the idea to make the movie when he was in New York. At that time, he was the official tourism spokesman of Australia, as we just saw. He was walking through the crowded streets and wondered to himself what it would be like for a Northern Territory bushman to arrive in the Big Apple. There's a lot about Dundee that we all think we're like, but we're not because we live in Sydney. He's a mythical outback Australian who does exist in part, the frontiersman who walks through the bush, picking up snakes and throwing them aside, living off the land, who can ride horses and chop down trees and has that simple, friendly, laid-back philosophy. It's like the image of Americans have of us, so why not give them one?
Yeah, it's a cowboy sort of.
It's their cowboy.
Yeah.
Crocodile Boy.
Yeah.
He said, "We've always been desperately short of folk heroes in this country. Ned Kelly is pathetic. So are the Bushrangers." It might surprise you to know that Crocodile Dundee also received awards and nominations. It was nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Academy Awards, and he served as the host of the Oscars in 1987.
What?
And he did okay.
Yeah, it's tough.
He did, yeah.
At the Golden Globes, Linda Kozlowski received a nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Paul Hogan won a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a Feature, in a picture, musical, or comedy. He was also nominated for a BAFTA, and the film was nominated for Best Original Screenplay. Rod Ansell's story was rediscovered by the press and the public, but Rod was never officially credited for his part in the film's creation, and he never collected any royalties.
Huh.
Initially, Rod was basking in the publicity. He told the press the movie was pretty funny. Paul Hogan and company wanted to strike while the iron was hot. They went into production on a sequel, Crocodile Dundee 2, in 1987. Paramount outbid 20th Century Fox to the global rights on Croc 2. And then we have a clip of the Crocodile 2 trailer.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Did he eventually do the Foster's commercials too?
I don't know.
Did he ever do any Outback Steakhouse commercials?
God, no. Maybe. Honestly, maybe. In a world. Crocodile Dundee 2. Crocodile Dundee did it.
Still doing it.
The world's favorite adventurer
Look, he's whipping around like
is
a lasso.
back for more.
Mick! Yeah? You're back! Yeah. You're back! Yes, what? I missed you. I know.
The drinks are on the house.
Oh, my God.
More action.
No, they more. That's way more action.
More excitement.
Don't try to stop me.
I don't want to stop you, I just want to get past.
I'm about to throw myself off this building.
Would you mind getting a move on? I'm on my lunch break.
More fun.
Talking a guy off a ledge.
Oh my God.
Louis Grossman?
Now, mate. What did he say? He wants to know if we're allowed to eat these men.
Louis Guzman.
And more of everything.
Whoa.
What's he like in bed? I don't know. He still sleeps on the floor.
Paul Hogan is
Oh, fish went down here.
Michael J. Crocodile Dundee.
Wait.
Hey, Sarge.
I might have known it would be you.
This New York fish, Sarge. They won't take a bait.
Yeah, Twin Towers.
Crocodile Dundee 2.
His name is Michael J. Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah. They subbed an animal.
Yeah, a fox.
Yeah.
That's how big Michael J. Fox was. That in the trailer they did a play on his name.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Also, Back to the Future, 1987, I think.
Oh, 85.
85.
The original was 85. And then 87 and then 90, I believe.
So that movie opened in North America on May 25th, 1988. It was a hit by anyone's standards, but it wasn't the cash bonanza that the original had been. With domestic and international box office combined, it made $239 million still.
Jesus Christ.
It was only the second highest grossing movie in the history of Australian cinema. Critics made it clear they hadn't caught lightning in a bottle twice. The novelty has begun to wear thin, even if Mr. Hogan remains generally irresistible, says the New York Times.
50-year-old man, Paul Hogan, irresistible.
The golfer? No, it's Ben Hogan.
Variety said, a disappointing follow-up to the disarmingly charming first feature with the Aussie star Paul Hogan. This sequel is too slow to constitute an adventure and has too few laughs to be a comedy, resulting in a mildly entertaining 111 minutes that has much less of the freshness and spark that legions of filmgoers loved in the original.
Wait till they get a load of the third one.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they were rolling in dough, the producers of the film legally barred Rod from calling himself the real Crocodile Dundee or using the Crocodile Dundee name to promote his proposed adventure tour business. He told People magazine in 1988, I really can't understand their position. I explained very carefully that I was willing to sign a piece of paper saying that I had no rights to royalties. When asked by People magazine for a comment, an associate of Hogan's simply responded, the idea for Crocodile Dundee came from Paul Hogan's head. In 1988, Rod was named Territorian of the Year, and his nomination cited him as an unassuming achiever. Rod's farm was facing major troubles in the late 80s. The NT government was forcing Rod and other farmers to comply with a health and safety campaign to eradicate bovine brucellosis and tuberculosis.
That's Zevon has this song where he says, all the cattle have brucellosis or whatever it is.
What did he rhyme it with? Halitosis.
Yes.
Well, you got to have that sentimental hygiene.
That's right, exactly.
Against his wishes, Rod had to kill 3,000 head of herd of feral buffalo that were living on his property. He told the press and his friends that his original plan was to domesticate the water buffalo and support his family from the domesticated herd, but now he was out of luck.
Yeah, they were going to start a school and
teach him to cook,
clean.
That's right.
Yeah, make them house pets.
Yeah.
In a conversation with journalist Robert Milliken, he said, no country has ever successfully eradicated the disease completely from free-range conditions. If you have just one wild animal left, it will still be there. All this money would be better spent on researching AIDS.
Oh, well, yeah.
He called the culling of the animals an outrageous waste of good livestock. For some reason, he went to the U.S. to publicly protest the government's edict.
I mean, the U.S. certainly had...
Well, you're charmed by this Crocodile Dundee guy.
Check me out.
Yeah, what about the guy who's not an actor?
Yeah, what about that? They're killing all my fucking buffalo. I'm trying to get him to train and juggle.
I think as far as killing buffalo goes, he came to the wrong country.
Yeah.
We don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't compensated by the state for his losses, but many others were. In some cases, they got massive payouts. 3 graziers in the same community as the Ansells got $100,000 in government loans for their livestock. In 1991, the farm's floodplain was taken over by an invasive mimosa pigra weeds.
Oh.
The Ansells didn't have enough money to fight the weeds back, and they were forced to sell their cattle station property at a loss in June. Rod started growing marijuana.
Cool. Now that's the third movie.
Which was illegal under local territory laws and Australian federal laws.
Dude, that's so stupid. In Australia, you should be able to do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Australia.
Yeah.
Like the spiders.
Dude, come on.
Yeah.
You're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. What do they got drones?
Yeah.
Yeah. All the cattle.
Everybody's got a gun. The cops don't, and you can't grow weed.
Yeah.
The fuck is going
out of here? There's snakes that talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get the animals high.
Yeah.
Rod and Joanne were divorced in 1992. That was a bad year for him. He was convicted of an assault charge and for stealing $7,000 worth of cattle from his neighbor's ranch and fighting the guy.
One cow.
Yes. It wants to be with me.
A court fined Rod and he was placed on a good behavior bond. He told reporters that he was living off unemployment benefits and bush tucker, or foods native to the bush. By the mid-90s, he had lost one court battle over movie royalties and another court battle over his cattle. He moved to a new homestead some 300 miles south of Darwin on a plot of Aboriginal land. In June 1996, he began dating 25-year-old Cherie Hewson. Rod was 41.
Whoa.
They were both using marijuana, alcohol, and amphetamines.
That's legal. That's given to you by the government in Australia.
Yeah.
We need these graziers to really grazy it up.
That's right.
According to the National Drug and Alcohol Research Center in Sydney, the increase in the supply and use of methamphetamine appeared to have begun around the mid to late 90s, approximately 98, 99, while the emergence of the more potent forms of base and ice methamphetamine were first detected in 1999. As of April 2017, Australia had the world's highest methamphetamine addiction rate.
Really?
About 1% of 15 to 49-year-olds have an amphetamine abuse disorder in Australia, compared to 0.3% of that same population in the U.S. But boy, do they make a splash, though. That 0.3%, man, we really know they're there.
They're a they're a vocal 0.3%.
Yes. It's funny. They stand out a little.
Yeah. Well, that 1% in Australia, they're drifting around in the outback.
Well, you're alone. You're alone a lot of the time. You don't see these guys.
These guys are mixing it up.
It's not the fucking Los Angeles corners where you see these guys cool art and vacuum exhibits.
Yeah. Sweeping the dirt.
Yes, crafts. A lot of crafting.
Yeah, a lot of mazes being drawn.
Measuring yarn and stuff.
Reorganizing your toolbox on the side of your truck.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow. Everything fits
At
now.
3 a.m.
Yeah. There's nothing in it.
Stopping halfway through to take on a new project. On August 3rd, 1999, in the town of Adelaide River, about 70 miles south of Darwin, police were called to set up a roadblock on Old Bino Road near Livingstone. They were trying to head off an out-of-control man with a gun.
I mean,
Rod Ansell was in the midst of a very extreme paranoid delusion brought about by crystal meth abuse. He believed that Freemasons had kidnapped his children.
The Freemasons?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Even down here.
In the bush.
Yeah. Nothing's built.
How did they get there?
Well, and what do they do?
Yeah.
Are they doing nothing?
Whittling.
Maybe building a chimney.
There's no fucking cathedrals. There's no pyramids. There's nothing down here. What are the There are no Freemasons.
Well, that's why they're stealing kids.
Well, if you see there's 3 sticks arranged in a certain way, you might think it's the new temple.
When really it's the Blair Witch.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Everyone knows that.
At the time, Rod's 2 sons were both young adults. Sean was 18. His older brother Callum was around 20. So these are it's not like my kids.
Yeah,
they're
adult children.
They're just not returning his crazy calls.
Yeah, they're probably just with their mom, and it's all good.
Not on meth.
Yeah. Yet.
Now, does Chris Hemsworth come save the day?
No, he's still growing and getting stronger.
Yeah,
cool.
He is, and he still is to this day.
Yeah.
Rod wasn't just dangerous because of his past assault charge and his firearm. He'd already attacked and injured some of his neighbors.
Oh boy.
You know that's a whole day's travel.
Right away. Yeah. You really gotta hate your neighbor 15 miles away.
That's right.
Wouldn't let me use the phone.
He's a mob buffalo.
I had to call up Zeta Reticuli to tell them that the Masons are taking my kids. Wouldn't let me use the fucking phone.
The night of August 2nd, police responded to a call about a man shooting at a house in a rural area some 30 miles south of Darwin. Dave Hobden lived in a neighboring house. He described the scene later. Bullets were going through the walls and out other walls and through the floor, so we were just laying there not moving. He got into his pickup truck and went over to the house to investigate. His windshield was sprayed with bullets, and he was blinded in one eye.
No!
Jeez. I couldn't see anything by this stage. My face was all blood. I didn't know what had happened, he said. He wound up losing the eye, but he kept his life.
Good trade.
Yeah. And the windshield's all right?
Yeah, the safe light. Yeah. Did insurance cover the windshield?
Yeah. He's supposed to get a dragon. In House of the Dragon, you lose an eye, you get a dragon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a real good system.
Yeah.
I'd take an eye out. Take 2. Double dragon.
Oh, boy.
The resident inside the house being shot at, Brian Williams, came out swinging with a baseball bat. He tried to subdue Rod by striking at him with the bat. This guy's shooting inside the house, and you come out with a bat?
Wait, a baseball bat?
Not cricket?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think that you probably smuggled
He
that
was
in.
a really United States-ophile.
Yeah.
Well, they got the meth.
Yeah. He was mesmerized.
Yeah.
But Rod managed.
He was mesmerized.
Get mesmerized. Get mesmerized.
We are.
Snake.
You got to check out the Mets episode to know what that song's about, folks. But Rod managed to shoot him in the hand at close range, blowing off one of his fingers.
Oh.
Okay.
He left him bleeding out and ran into the bush while
not legal in baseball.
Police were being contacted to handle the aftermath. Overnight, police erected roadblocks near the area, known as Humpty Doo. But by the next, they always have a cute name.
Yeah.
Humpty Doo, you man.
A real Humpty Doo.
There's a real duo down at Humpty Doo.
Triple murder at Humpty Doo.
Absolute slaughterhouse.
What's a roadblock going to do with this guy? He doesn't use the roads.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
You got to call a whale to fucking
I
derail
know,
this guy.
yeah, you got to fucking organize the Crocs. They have a union. They erected roadblocks near Humpty Doo, but by the next morning, a team of 30, including members of a SWAT team, couldn't track down Rod. Around 10:30 a.m., 2 police officers were setting up that roadblock, trying to keep Ansell in a contained area if possible. The officers were 37-year-old Sergeant Glenn Hudson and 27-year-old Constable James O'Brien. 2 young men, Jonathan Anthony's and his mate Anthony Hobden stopped to ask officers for directions. They chatted to the police for a few minutes, then out of nowhere they heard gunshots from the bush. Hudson yelled, "Get on the ground," while shots continued to rain on the roadblock from the roadside bushes. O'Brien and Hudson attempted to shield Jonathan and Anthony from the bullets. Hudson called for backup from the tactical response group while O'Brien gave him cover. The senior officer grabbed a 12-gauge shotgun and tried to fire on Ansell. One of Ansell's bullets from his 30 caliber lever action rifle hit Hudson in his abdomen.
Ooh.
Shit. Glenn had failed to
quote?
Glenn
End quote. Quote, shit.
Glenn had failed to properly fix one of the straps on his Kevlar vest, leaving him vulnerable to that one unprotected seam.
You gotta strap it up properly.
That's what you have a partner for.
Mm-hmm.
Jono's going out. He's been shot. Get me out of here. Get me out of the line of fire. I went and janged him back behind the police car, Mr. Hobden said. But a bullet shattered bones in Hobden's lower back. O'Brien tried to return Ansell's fire. He only had a few moments to act as trucks carrying tactical response troops were rolling down the road. O'Brien couldn't warn them about the gunfire. One of the trucks rolled when it was trying to avoid the gunfire. The second truck collided with it.
What? What is going
on here? It's a fucking tactical response truck. Drive through the bullets.
Yeah, be tactical.
Have you seen Batman? You can take it.
Well, maybe it was a
fucking Subaru with
exactly.
a headlight.
Ansell had walked through the roadblock, no longer hiding in the bushes. And there's so many cops now with guns. There were journalists on the scene, and they would reflect that it seemed like he wanted a showdown. He was about to start picking off TRG officers at the crash site when O'Brien fired on him, hitting him in the chest.
Ooh.
Good.
Rod Ansell, 44 years old, lay face down on the road, dead. Sergeant Hudson and Anthony Hobden were transported to the hospital. Hobden would survive his injuries, but he could never walk the same again. Glenn Hudson was not so lucky. He died in the hospital. He was survived by his wife, Lisa, his 2-year-old son, Joe, and his 9-month-old daughter, Ruby.
Oh, my God.
A coroner's inquest would later find that Rod Ansell had taken 33 gunshots in his confrontation with O'Brien and the TRG.
Dude, meth.
Yeah.
Makes you bulletproof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Temporarily.
Yeah. You don't feel it, but you can still...
Yeah.
He probably thought he was winning.
Yeah.
They only shot me 33 times. I could do this all day.
Pack me another light bulb, dude.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. This will be done in about a half an hour.
And then I'll deal with these bees attacking
I gotta get finishing this maze I've been drawing into the dirt.
Yeah. Where are the Freemasons? Come on, where are my kids?
It's 33rd level.
Come on. Yeah. Quit fooling around, guys. The psychiatrist Robert Parker worked on Ansell's case and assessed his mental state prior to death, said,
he was really fucked up. In my professional opinion, it was well fucked up.
No, proper fact.
Proper.
Real Humpty do that one.
Yeah. He said, there is no doubt that Ansell was affected by amphetamine intoxication prior to his fatal interaction with Sergeant Hudson. Ansell's behavior prior to the initial shots being fired is consistent with amphetamine intoxication, with restlessness, hypervigilance, anxiety, anger, and impaired judgment. He was also affected by a paranoid psychotic state, which is typical in chronic amphetamine abuse.
He also jacked off in full strokes.
And I know that because I was there.
The two of them, meaning Ansell and his girlfriend Sherry Houston, developed a shared delusional state. It is possible, therefore, that one or both parties had an underlying vulnerability to mental illness, which was enhanced and sustained by their regular use of meth. Exactly.
Well, it doesn't feel like delusions if someone else is going along with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Check out the motion picture Bug, based on the play Bug by Tracy Letts.
Oh.
Very good example of this.
Really?
Very.
I'm unfamiliar.
It's Ashley Judd, Michael Shannon.
Ooh,
Michael Shannon and
Shannon.
Ashley Judd.
Love Michael Shannon.
With a great supporting appearance by the great New Orleans white jazz pianist.
Harry Connick Jr.
Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, he's coming here soon. His face is on buses.
He's coming here?
He's coming to the bowl.
He's coming to the show?
No. He's not.
We should get him on the
I
show.
would not have
we
that
should
guy
get him.
here.
What?
I don't want to talk to that
Harry
asshole.
Connick Jr.?
I've been hating his face for years.
Come on, he's handsome. He teaches a master class.
Well, he's dyeing his hair now, and I don't like him.
You heard
Motion
it here
picture
first.
Bug.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in it, maybe.
No. You love Michael Shannon, and you love Ashley Judd.
I do. I love them both. I love all the Judds.
Dude, check it out.
Winona.
Yeah.
End of list.
Mm-hmm.
Rod's girlfriend, Cherie Hewson, had fled the scene before the confrontation with police, but she later surrendered to law enforcement in Brisbane, Queensland. She was the police...
Brisbane.
Yes. I'm going to say Brisbane.
You merely adopted the Bris.
Yeah, that's right. The Bris. Brisbane. He's so pissed about getting circumcised.
Calamari. You merely adopted the ritual sacrifice of the foreskin.
I was raised on calamari.
By the time I realized I was cut, I was already a man.
She was the police's best lead when it came to understanding Rod's state of mind leading up to the shooting, but police have never released her statements to the public. Officers investigated the possibility that Rod may have been set off by a drug deal gone wrong, but never came to any solid conclusions as to his motivations.
Where's he getting the meth out there?
You
think the Aborigines are fucking cooking it up, you know?
No, I wouldn't blame them. I would definitely blame the white people for the meth use.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There's plenty of open land where you can make meth.
Cook it up?
Yeah, no one will notice.
Yeah.
Sergeant Hudson is still deeply missed and remembered by his colleagues, friends, and family as a brave public servant. In his 12 years in law enforcement, he'd survived a number of close scrapes. He had boiling hot water poured on him during one call.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Was this Home Alone?
Somebody shoot me.
In 1995, he got a commendation for disarming a drunk person who'd been threatening someone with a knife and a piece of fence post.
A piece of he's dual wielding.
Somebody's hunting vampires.
6 months before the shooting, he got a Valor Award for disarming a man with a rifle who'd been threatening bus passengers in Litchfield National Park. To this day, he is still the last officer to be killed on duty in the Northern Territory.
Wow.
No other officer has been killed there in over 70 years. No other officer has been killed there in over 70 years. 20 years after the shooting, a public memorial was erected at the roadblock site to remember the victims of Rod Ansell's attack. In August 2010, Paul Hogan traveled from the U.S. to Australia to attend his mother's funeral. When he arrived, the Australian tax office issued him a public departure prohibition order. He couldn't leave the country until he paid or settled a tax debt he was alleged to owe.
Crocodile Dundee 4.
They said he owed $37.5 million.
How much?
$37.5 mil.
$37 million?
Yeah. That means he'd never paid any taxes on anything.
That means he did make a lot of money on those fucking movies, dude.
Yeah. Can you imagine these fucking tax nerds jumping up and down when his mother dies?
We got him.
His mom's dead. He's got to come. He's got to come.
Actually, she's not even dead.
Again.
Crocodile Dundee 4?
Life imitates art?
Yeah, Crocs on meth.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and they're all wearing Crocs.
Crocodiles.
Yeah, crocodiles.
Crocodile Dundee. Oh.
Ice. I came here for me mom's funeral and they trapped me.
She wasn't even dead. They just mailed him some newspaper.
Mailed her a fucking toe.
I'll get you a toe.
9 years prior to this, he'd made a sequel to Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It only made $39 million domestic and international box office and got negative reviews from critics and audiences alike.
I bet.
Universally pronounced as an unnecessary sequel.
That's the third kid.
In November 2010, the ATO drops its criminal investigation of Paul Hogan and his business management for tax evasion. In 2017, the Commissioner of Taxation in Australia, Chris Jordan, said that Hogan paid tens of millions of dollars to settle the matter with the ATO in 2012. Hogan denied he paid the ATO and criticized Jordan for violating a confidentiality clause in the 2012.
Told you not to tell him.
No,
You're fucking up you're fucking up my reputation.
Yeah.
I don't pay taxes. I'm Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, I live in the outback.
Now, we have a clip of the Darwin News. This is a 20-year retrospective on the shooting.
Oh, okay. Let's pull it up.
Good God. A retrospective on the shooting.
Yes.
Shoot out. Oh, Sergeant.
20 years ago, I was the ABC's police reporter. A call came in that a gunman was on the loose in Darwin's rural area. He'd been on the run for 12 hours, having shot at a house the night before, severely injuring 2 people. But it was here on the Stewart Highway, 50 kilometres south of Darwin, that all hell broke loose.
Nice.
It was the 3rd of August 1999 when Sergeant Glenn Hewitson and then Constable Jamie O'Brien were called in from Adelaide River, 60 kilometres away, to conduct a police roadblock on the Stewart Highway in Darwin's rural area.
Fucking sign
And
big
shortly
enough
after 10 o'clock, out of nowhere, a gunshot was fired. A civilian who was on the fender of the vehicle was projected forward and landed on the roadway and immediately was screaming in pain.
Little did they know the shooter was hiding behind a water pipe nearby.
Scanning through that area, then I was able to pick up the offender. Seeing the firearm and assessing the situation, my only decision was that I had to return fire and try and
fuck this guy up.
Take control of the situation, which I did from the rear of the vehicle. Within a matter of seconds, another shot came and it hit Glenn Hewitson right through the side of his vest. The only way I could adequately ensure the assistance to the injured people was to end the situation as quickly as I could, and the only way I was going to do that was unfortunately engage in a gunfight with the offender.
God,
the gunman
so
was killed.
American.
He was later identified as Rodney Ansell, known as the inspiration behind Crocodile Dundee. Ansell did the talk show circuit in the wake of the movie's success, however was resentful he received little recognition. But in 1999 the rugged bushman went on a drug-induced shooting spree. For reasons unknown, he started firing at a house in Livingston in rural Darwin, with its occupants taking cover inside. Dave Hobden almost lost an eye. He lives next door and heard the shooting.
Because he got the eye patch, he's so cool.
Did you get a dragon?
So I grabbed a shotgun, jumped in the truck and went up there. And before I get out of the truck or anything, there was a shot through the windscreen, followed by another one. I couldn't see anything by this stage. The face was all blood. I didn't know what had happened.
His neighbour dragged him upstairs.
We were there for about 4 hours, getting the shit shot out of us.
Oh my God.
Many rounds, 80, 100, who knows, you know.
Ken Dwyer was police duty superintendent when he received a call about shots being fired in Darwin's rural area.
I was told again by someone in communication that our members at the scene were under fire. They were being shot at.
By daybreak, police were confident the shooter had left the area.
They're doing their final sweep, and next minute a radio message came through that was pretty frantic.
Fuck! He's rocking on the road!
The member was saying that shots fired.
Oh, poor guy.
Officer down, and they needed help straight away.
The news wasn't good.
Genuine.
Got me inside. And told me that Glenn had passed away.
Anthony Hobden witnessed the whole incident. He and his friend Jonathan Anthonys were chatting to Glenn Hewitson and Jamie O'Brien at the roadblock.
Heard a bang, saw Jono's feet lifting, leaving the ground, and quickly realised what was going on. And Jono's calling out, he's being shot. Get me out of here, get me out of the line of fire, so to speak.
Jonathan Anthonys was on the ground. His pelvis had been shattered. But the gunman continued to stalk the officers.
While I'm crouching over Jono and saying, "You're all right, it's all good," hear glass shatter and hear a thud. And just see the eyes and, knew that basically nothing can do. Jamie, by this time, he's emptied. He's grabbed the shotty, told me to watch him, look for him.
Now retired, Ken Dwyer has constant flashbacks of that day.
Oh. Those officers there, they were ambushed, and it's just, how low is that,
And every year, Anthony Hobden has his own remembrance for Glenn Hewitson.
I go and have a drink for a man that can't drink anymore.
Oh, man.
Oh, I wonder what would happen if he was still with us today. Something I could probably guarantee is that he'd have red dust on his shoes somewhere.
A true bush cop, gone but never forgotten. Kate Carter, ABC News.
Man, they're all so much nicer.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, after every option was exhausted, I was forced to use my firearm on this guy who was murdering my friends.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
A guy's on the ground with his pants falling down in the hallway, and you just murk him.
Unfortunately, we discovered no weapons on him that could have
justified.
In one segment of To Fight the Wild, the book.
Oh, of course.
Not the movie. Okay.
Rod wrote, unfortunately, people seem to have mobs of evil in them. Myself included in a lot of ways. Call it the fault of human nature. We're a very murderous species.
Truth is, I went out there with 3 dogs.
If you know what I mean.
Wank, wank.
Yeah, I think, I look at this, I kind of think like, well, this guy was the inspiration for like this very celebrated thing. It did put Australia on the map. Like,
it's pretty big.
It's and he gets nothing from it, and he's fine with it. And then like they kind of are like, hey, don't steal our thunder about the movie, and it's like, well,
don't steal our thunder down under.
Yes, and then like just a series of the stuff that leads to like that sort of Revengers episode we did about like government edicts that
continually fucking them. Yeah, a little bit of disrespect.
Yeah, and just stopping one thing after another, that he's trying to get going. And the thing is that he lives simply.
Yeah,
he doesn't need money.
No.
He doesn't want to sleep in the comfy bed.
No,
he's not being greedy.
And then he's also living out
there. You're still fucking him over.
Yeah, and also nature is fucking him over.
Yeah.
They're getting like it. There's whatever.
The weeds
and the disease and
the
all
plagues.
That. Yeah. But also the biggest plague of all. Bureaucracy.
Oh, and meth.
The 11th plague of Egypt was the brutal paperwork.
Yeah.
The Jews.
Let's get out of here. We have to do more paperwork.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
It was visited upon the Egyptians. But,
yeah. I think. There's that thing like you're just trying to get stuff going and they just keep fucking you over, and you are like
also on meth.
Yep. Well, no, I mean like it's really like his wife leaves him when all these things keep going wrong, and then you lost your sons, and then you're just out there, and then you meet some wily characters, and they got some meth, and then like that guy on meth is like, dude, I could kill probably like 1,000 crocodiles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. He's not supposed to.
Plus people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought they were crocodiles.
But yeah, there is this thing of it's a self-fulfilling prophecy once you get the meth involved, and they're all fucking me. They're all out to fuck
get me. Well, yeah, you're killing people.
Yeah,
they're out to get you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's a real tragedy, and it's something I absolutely knew nothing about. All praise to Laura Crawford for suggesting this.
Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, great suggestion.
And
Paul Hogan's still alive.
Yes,
he's in his 80s.
Yeah, he paid taxes that he said he didn't.
Yeah. He didn't want people to know.
I think it's a great opportunity to do another Crocodile Dundee, just really round it out and reenact the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go out in a blaze.
Crocodile Dundee for
and Crocs on meth.
Yeah, and he fights the crocodiles, kill him.
Yeah, and then the crocodile hunter's ghost comes back, and he saves the whole situation.
Right.
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, and he's teamed up with the Ray that killed him.
Yeah. They've patched things up.
They became friends in heaven.
And yeah, they've actually merged together to become some sort of human bioweapon.
Yeah, some sort of man Ray.
Yeah, Rayman. Everybody loves Rayman.
Yeah. One day a real Ray will come, wipe all the scum off the bayou. I don't know, but yeah, Also, Laura was very wise in suggesting this too, because she was just like, our Chopper Reed episode is so big on YouTube.
The Aussies.
And we do have, such great Australian fans. So I wanted to talk about some of their stuff.
Australian fans are the best.
They are the best. Yes. No winks.
No winks.
No winks.
Definitely not pandering to our great friends down under.
Yes.
Never been.
Me either.
I would love to go.
I would love to go. We have our mutual friend Jess there.
Oh, shit. Did she live in Australia?
Right. Yeah,
Oh, I thought she lived in. I guess.
No, yeah, she's
it's
from
more likely
Australia.
she lives in Australia, not New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, that would be great to go there, huh?
It would be so
Hey
great.
guys in Australia and girls and non-binaries.
Yeah.
Would you like us to come down under? Are you
Yeah.
in Sydney? Are you in Brisbane?
Yes.
End of list. Are you in the NT?
Mm.
Fly us down there
Fly us
on
down.
Qantas.
Mm-hmm. Give us the meth.
Give us some.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yeah,
we'll
do it.
bang out 15 shows, 20 Patreons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely intelligible.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few nuts.
Yeah, we'll disappear for
Oh, yeah.
a couple months.
Yeah.
Into the bush.
Yeah, and we'll live stream it.
Yeah.
We got Starlink.
It was an interesting thing, though. Like, Laura pointed out about this kind of thing of, man versus nature. It's like the Aboriginal people just live there.
Yeah.
They don't they're not like, oh, I survived. They live there year after year.
Yeah.
And they don't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah, they're not like.
It's only when a white guy goes and survives that they're like, what
I
a
gotta
hero.
do the meth.
Yeah.
Well, they know what not to fuck with. Like,
Yeah.
they're not out there like, let's get in a dinghy and float on the fucking river that has 15 estuaries and tributaries and there's whales, apparently.
Well, even without a whale, whatever he's in, a big enough croc probably could have fucking thrown him out. He's lucky he fucking survived at all.
Yeah, they live there. They know the rules and they know not like. It's not Aboriginal versus nature.
No.
Right.
They know not to fuck with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're there by it's letting you be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't fuck with it.
Yeah, well, it's like that thing of like, the Aboriginal guy goes there because his ancestors used to live there. When it was probably
no wonder they left.
Probably more hospitable. Then it changed.
Even not. Maybe not. Maybe who knows? I mean, I don't know.
But yeah, the inspiration for Crocodile Dundee had a meth-fueled showdown with the police that ended in major tragedy.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I had no fucking idea.
I didn't fucking know
I didn't
that.
even know it was inspired by a real guy.
Yeah. Rod Ansell.
Fuck him.
Fuck him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of sympathize with him.
Well, once you do like
a national treasure.
When you start doing the methed out T1000, like.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But also, these guys he's shooting are just talking to the police about directions. Like, they have nothing to. They don't have fuck to do with shit.
I mean, they might be Freemasons, but that's not important.
Yeah, well, that's the stuff they don't want you to know.
Yeah. Well, they are free.
Yeah.
Talking to the cops about the kind of new world order they're going to build and stuff.
No soda seclorum.
Yeah.
Doing secret handshakes and shit.
Tickling each other's palms. Yeah.
Was that with you? Gosh.
One guy did tickle my palm and I really didn't like it.
Was that at the Magic Castle?
Oh, that happened to me at the Magic Castle.
That was you at the Magic Castle.
Yeah.
That was the magician behind the bar.
Yeah, it turns out it's a gay thing.
Is it?
I don't know, but that's what people said.
Well, Masons, gays.
Yeah.
That's what
shit.
people said.
Yeah, he
my gay
He
friend.
tickled his fucking palm on the thing.
Yeah.
It was so. Maybe he was like planting a silver.
It's very unnerving.
It was. I was like, does
Are
he
you
think I'm a magician too?
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like,
is that
no.
Yeah.
No. He wants to have sex with you.
I don't know, dude.
He wants you to hide the penis.
He probably thinks it's like a cute thing to do. It's like, this is why people hate
No,
magicians.
like, we all shook his hand.
Yeah. He only did it to me.
Yeah.
Damn, that's weird.
And he was wearing glasses without frame, like without lenses.
Yes, that was one of his
That's
tricks.
a gay thing.
Well, you can stick a dick in it.
Oh my god! And then you get a dragon.
How about that guy saying he's shooting the shit out of us?
Shit out of us, man.
What chaos, dude. And then these fucking two tactical response things, they're flipping over each other.
Is it like a Fred Flintstone vehicle where they trip?
Well, the problem is they have wind screens, not wind shields.
Exactly.
After that, you go like, guys, we got to discuss tactics.
Yeah.
Because these tactics are not working at all.
Flipping the Humvee because a guy.
And it makes the other one crash into it. And then it's just like a fucking bunch of.
Yeah.
And then there's fucking this guy this lone man.
Yeah,
he's got like 30 armed police officers there.
I mean,
and this guy's getting shot up 30 times.
Rod, when all those guys came out of the truck, he probably thought a spider just gave birth.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Or there was a spider in the truck and they all freaked out.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah,
great story.
It is. It's a wild fucking tale, man. And thank you again, Laura, very much for the research and the suggestion. I really enjoyed that. I do feel for the guy. I do feel like he was done wrong by the government after he was kind of a national treasure, and he really did get sidelined.
Yeah.
money-wise for this thing that, he did really inspire. It's admitted it was inspired.
Yeah.
And they go like, oh, it came from, Paul Hogan's head. And you go like, yeah, but they based it on his shit.
Yeah.
It's not very fair.
It's not. Yeah, you should get like
just say
national
like
treasure
you won't
medal.
even let him tour on the real Crocodile Dundee, even though you're like it's based on him.
Yeah,
it's
kind of lame.
Yeah, well, I mean, but they wouldn't even let they wouldn't let Paul Hogan do it. There's no way they're letting this random Australian guy do it.
No, they let Paul Hogan.
No, they wouldn't let him do the tours.
No,
that was Rod.
Rod.
Yeah, they wouldn't let Rod.
Hogan wouldn't let him do that.
Yeah, Hogan and the other producers.
That is fucked up.
Yeah, man, come on.
That sounds like a guy who doesn't pay his taxes.
Yeah, and then does when he's his mom dies and they won't let him leave the country. He's like, all right, I want to stay here.
Don't let anybody know.
I owe 37. I'll give you 21. Final offer.
Even Steve.
Then we're good, right? Actually, there's one last thing I think that that Laura put as a clip. At the very end. Yeah.
Pull it up.
I think Matt's got a little surprise for us as well.
Do you have a surprise for us?
Yeah, there's something to go out on.
Okay.
I played it on a Patreon a little while ago, but yes, there's a classic.
Oh, a sing song?
Simpsons. I believe this is a Hogan.
You call that a knife? This is a knife.
That's not a knife, that's a spoon.
All right, you win. I see you've played knifey spoony before.
Was that even Paul Hogan?
I don't know if it was.
No, I'm sure Hank Azaria could do that voice.
Yeah, it was Hank Azaria, I bet.
Yeah, there's also another moment in that where someone has to call the prime minister, so they have to go to a phone one town over, or down the road, then call a guy who has to go find the prime minister who's in a pond drinking a beer in a inner tube.
It's very, very
Pretty
good.
prime.
Yeah.
There was one other clip she put at the beginning there. Would you play that too? It's U.S.-Australian relations. This is also from The Simpsons.
Unfortunately, Bart, your little escapade could not have come at a worse time. Americo-Australian relations are at an all-time low. As I'm sure you remember, in the late 1980s, the U.S. experienced a short-lived infatuation with Australian culture. For some bizarre reason, the Aussies thought this would be a permanent thing. Of course it wasn't.
Yahoo
I know those
serious.
words, but that sign makes no sense.
Anyway, the down under fad fizzled, and the diplomatic climate turned absolutely frosty. Oops. Let's pretend I didn't see that.
Oh, was that the episode too where in the American embassy in Australia they forced the toilet to spin the northern hemisphere direction?
Yeah.
That's very funny.
I think that's that episode. I remember
it's very
that.
funny.
Fuck.
Yeah. Well, Matt, what are you closing us out with here?
While you're pulling that up, I saw this interview with Louis Theroux. You know he
I don't know who you're talking about.
He does. Did he do the Men Who Stare? No, that was John Ronson. He's kind of a John Ronson kind of guy.
Okay. Yes.
And he was talking about when Michael Jackson did The Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
Where he
Lisa,
played, like,
it's your birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Lisa. It's a great song. And
I just like that you had to say it, the other half of it. Lisa, it's your birthday.
So, Michael Jackson plays somebody who thinks he's Michael Jackson.
Yes.
And he's just like a big, bald, fat white guy who talks like Michael Jackson. And Michael said that the only way he would do it is if his character gets to spend the night with Bart. And then they stay up all night and they write that song.
Oh my God, dude.
That's
what a
great.
catastrophe.
That's great.
He's like, see, it's fine.
See,
Look.
it makes good art, guys.
Yeah. If Bart can handle it and Macaulay Culkin can handle it.
And, Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
I think it's... I was thinking about this yesterday by myself and I laughed out loud. And I had to tell Marcel, I was like, that fucking, that first Dave Chappelle special, Killing Him Softly, I think it was, where he talks about, he's defending Michael, because this is 2001 or whatever. He's like, what's all these sick Make-A-Wish kids trying to, their wish is to spend the night with Michael Jackson. You don't remember Thriller? That's like me, and I'm on my deathbed, and I tell my mom, "Mom, get me in a room with Chubby Checker." And he's right.
Yeah. The Cat Williams bit about it is the ultimate bit about it.
Which one's that?
Well, he's saying I have rosé in my apartment. And he's like, I don't like it. But he goes, bitches like it.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you got a fucking petting zoo at your house, who are you trying to get over there?
Yeah.
That's a good bit.
Yeah.
Man. All right, what are we going out on? Let's. Are we done here?
Yeah, great episode. Here we go.
All right, I'm gonna say goodnight. I love you. My name is John Fahey.
My name's Warren Zevon.
Matt Brousseau.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.
And all the cows have broccolini.
Grandpa pissed his pants again. He don't give a damn.
He doesn't.
Billy has both guns drawn. He ain't been right since Vietnam. Sweet home Alabama, play that dead band song. Turn
Dead band?
up full blast.
Dude, Warren Zevon is the best songwriter of all time. He wrote a song about werewolves, dude.
Yeah.
And Excitable Boys. Headless Thompson Gunners.
Lawyers, Guns, and Money is the one.
Yeah.
Sister Sally, Grandma's dying of cancer now. The cattle all have brucellosis. We'll get through somehow. Sweet home Alabama.
This is, I think he wrote this.
Play that dead band song.
This is like 80s, late 80s.
Because they all fucking died in a plane crash. Play that dead band song.
There's some touring somehow.
Yeah, that's right.
The fuck is that about?
Ghost tour.
Yeah, some fucking keyboard player put a band together and called them fucking Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinhead.
I'm going down to the Dewdrop Inn. See if I can drink enough. There ain't much to country living. Sweat, piss, jizz, and blood. Sweet Alabama, play that dead band song.
Oh, man, I have not listened to Warren Zevon in a long time.
You don't get to hear like a big mainstream guy say jizz that
Yeah, sweat, piss, jizz, and blood.
This cover with him just watching ballerinas too is insane.
Yeah, perched up against the wall.
And he's all judge it about it.
Bad Luck Streak and Dancing School. That's the album. And he gets to do his scream. Yeah, best screamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this guy fucking makes Bob Dylan look like a fucking invalid.
Well, he is now.
Yeah. Bob Dylan turned into Vincent Price. Have you seen him?
No.
It seems like he would turn more into Tim Burton.
Oh, yeah.
Who Vincent Price loved.
Yes. Yeah.
Great song. Great episode.
Yes.
All right. Good night again. We love you, folks.
Love you. Good night.
Good night.